Denver7 News starts right now.
It's 5:30, and right now on Denver7, there's the potential for a tricky commute because the roads right now are a bit icy. Even though it looks okay right now in downtown, we have found some icy spots on our drives. Lots of crashes so far. Even though the snow isn't falling right now, you can still see radar. It's still very cold out there. So we've got team coverage and everything you need to know so you can stay safe today.
We need it now! These kids need safety now!
Sadness turns to anger. The gun control debate fired up yet again in America, with more people coming forward speaking directly to President Trump.
We've got new information that Denver Police Department, it wrongly classified more than 700 crime reports. So we're going to show you how that impacts all of us and the department. Well, good morning. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mitch Jelniker.
And I'm Nicole Brady, and for Molly Hendrickson today. We have to talk about the forecast first. We have the biggest team in the metro bringing you live weather coverage this morning.
We're going to begin with meteorologist Lisa Hidalgo. Because Lisa, it's freezing out there. That's not helping the road. So when will it warm up to help out the streets?
Yeah, you guys, it's going to take some time. This morning we're in the teens, single digits. Recently, we had a wind chill here in Denver of 6 degrees below zero. It's going to take a few hours. We'll get, it looks like, above freezing, close to it at least, by 10 o'clock, and then we'll be in the 40s this afternoon. But those side streets are likely going to stay icy through the morning drive. So our first alert action day is in effect until 9 o'clock this morning. 40s and sunshine, though, this afternoon, so it's going to be a decent warm-up. By 3 o'clock, we've got Congress Park at 45, Littleton and Highlands Ranch in the mid to upper 40s, so the afternoon-evening drive is going to look a lot better. Here's a big concern, though, the winds. The winds are going to pick up starting later today through the weekend, so we have a number of alerts, and Jason, I'll talk more about those coming up in just a few minutes, but expect some windy conditions and some blowing snow in the mountains tonight.
And that snow that is blowing across some of the roadways are making it slick. However, a lot of the chain and traction laws have been lifted onto the west side of town and up into the mountains and the foothills, which is really good news. You can see here a C470, the mix of conditions. It looks just wet here, but then you have also some areas of some snow cover across some of the roadways, and the side streets are really slick. So take a look at the drive. Overall, you still have a pretty slick drive on I-70 with the commute times really up just a little bit, with the speeds down in the 50s for the most part across most of the freeways. Do have this one crash at Hamden in Colorado still being cleaned up, where somebody went into the pole there, and you can see the conditions here in Highlands Ranch. Again, very slick on the side streets. I think that's going to be one of the biggest problems we have this morning.
Well, let's get you out there live so you can see the conditions yourself. Our Megan Lopez is in Castle Rock, our Castle Pines right now.
Megan, the roads down south, Mitch and I both noticed, were pretty slick this morning.
They were pretty slick. They continue to be pretty slick, guys. But something that's pretty interesting that my photographer and I certainly noticed is we just drove up the road from Lone Tree from our 5 o'clock hit, and it's way colder up here, and the wind is definitely picking up a bit. I want to show you the side streets in a little bit, and also I-25. I-25 is moving pretty smoothly in this area. My photographer was able to reach about 60, 65 going on the highway. Something that was interesting, though, is when we hit those side streets, that's when our anti-lock brakes started locking up. That's when our car started sliding a little bit more, and that's when that black ice really hit our car anyway. So you just want to be a little bit more careful on the side streets until you at least get to the highway, where CDOT is just doing a lot of work to make sure everything's clear. Guys?
All right, thanks, Megan. Let's head out to Eric Lufer now. He's live near Iliff and Dayton.
So, Eric, things have improved since we last checked in with you, right?
It has. They've opened up Iliff, which is good news. They had it closed in both directions because it was just too icy. If you have front-wheel drive or bad tires, stay away from this, because this is a problem area whenever it gets icy here in the metro because of the hill going eastbound up to Dayton and then getting up to Parker Road. Cars are doing okay right now, but look what happened earlier. A big tow truck, a heavy tow truck, when there was an accident here earlier this morning, it couldn't even get up the hill. It was trying really hard. The tires were spinning out. Eventually that tow truck got to the top of the hill and moved off the road, but that's how slick it was here, and that's why they closed it down for a little bit earlier this morning. So back here live, about a half-inch fell here on the unincorporated Arapahoe County Aurora line. You almost want to kick some of the snow onto the sidewalk so you can get some traction, because it really is just an ice rink here on the sidewalk, guys. Back to you.
Well, Denver7's Katie LaSalle is up in the mountains near Idaho Springs.
And obviously, Katie, the snow isn't necessarily a bad thing for the mountains, especially we have this 3-day weekend
skiers
right
love
now.
it.
Oh, you guys, people are going to be flocking to the high country for this weekend. Right now in Idaho Springs, it is cold, but it is dry. Our roads getting up here, I-70 westbound was just fine. CDOT, as we've been talking about all morning, has done a great job of keeping things nice and clear. Traffic right now moving smooth. But if you are heading to the high country, Lisa will talk about this a little bit later on, but winds are going to be a concern, especially tonight into tomorrow. Blowing snow, especially over those mountain passes. And if you're skiing or snowboarding, places like Aspen, Snowmass, 14 inches in the past 24 hours. Vail, Breck, 6, Beaver Creek, 10. So some great fresh powder, but also you'll want the goggles and a lot of layers because it's going to be a chilly one, but also plenty of sunshine. So hope you have a great weekend. But for now, we'll keep an eye on the road conditions out in the mountains for you through the morning hours. Katie LaSalle for Denver 7. Back to you.
So as you head out the door, remember you can keep track of these changing weather conditions in Colorado, which is pretty much all the time, right? You can download the free Denver 7 app.
I'm furious. This has got to stop. We cannot have violence in our schools.
This is not fair to our families that our children go to school and have to get killed.
People are going to say, oh, you're a talk show host, shut up. In this moment, I'm a mom of 3 kids that go to school, and I had to talk my kids off a ledge this morning because they were afraid to go to school.
So as our country comes to grips with yet another massacre and mourns with the people of Florida, people are still crying out this morning, enough is enough.
And as the gun control debate heats up once again, we are learning more about the 17 lives lost in Wednesday's school shooting. Many of them so young, they really hadn't even started their lives yet.
So we wanted to take some time this morning to play part of what CNN's Anderson Cooper said during his broadcast last night because it resonates here.
This is now a community of forensic teams and grief counselors, mourners and trauma surgeons and funeral directors. It's a town of vigils, this one drawing thousands tonight. This is Parkland tonight, points of light shining in the darkness. We have seen far too many vigils like this one. In Aurora, Colorado, we remember listening as the names of the dead were read aloud. And after every name, mourners who'd gathered chanted 3 simple, sorrowful words. We will remember.
Of course, we were here in Colorado are no strangers to mass shootings this morning. Lawmakers, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, all putting pressure on Congress to do something.
Yeah, even those young students who are inside that school are promising changes coming because they say they're the future.
The people around us are the people who won't let it happen. And by us, I mean these people right here. Like, we aren't gonna let it happen.
President Trump is heading to his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida this morning, and he says he plans to visit Parkland, which is only about 40 minutes away.
We heard from him yesterday that no parents should have to fear for their sons and daughters when they kiss them goodbye in the morning. But he focused more on mental health, not necessarily gun control, something a lot of people are taking issue with.
Here's a clip from ABC's Jimmy Kimmel addressing the president directly, seen right here on Denver 7 last night.
Children are being murdered. We still haven't even talked about it. You still haven't done anything about it. You've literally done nothing. Actually, you've done worse than nothing. You like to say this is a mental health issue, but one of your very first acts as president, Mr. Trump, was to actually roll back the regulations that were designed to keep firearms out of the hands of the mentally ill. You did that.
We checked, and the president signed that measure rolling back regulations on February 28th of last year.
I want to be clear here, we're not taking a stance on the issue, but rather want to give you a 360 look at this issue so you can make up your own mind.
You've been hearing from people who say this keeps happening because we don't have tougher laws on guns here in America. But there is a side saying people should have access to guns for self-defense or simply pointing to their Second Amendment rights. Others say it's not about taking guns away from people. There's another side that points to the background check process.
Think about this. We don't know exactly how many people own guns. There's no countrywide database where people register if they own a firearm. They rely, or all of us rely, on surveys instead, and that's something that some people want to see changed.
It's a debate we have heard before. We want to give you the facts so you can decide for yourself.
So right now on our website, we have stories dedicated to this very topic, diving even deeper into them. You can comment on them, and we would like to hear what you think about these issues. And as the gun debate reaches yet another high point, Colorado state lawmakers are considering a proposal that would allow concealed handguns on school grounds.
2 Republicans are sponsoring this bill. Their argument is that rural schools in Colorado could have a delayed response from law enforcement in an emergency situation. So they think having someone legally armed in their schools could protect the kids and staff. Opponents say they don't want guns in schools no matter what the argument. We'll follow this and let you know what happens.
It's about 20 till 6 now, and new this morning, the Denver Police Department confirms to our partners over at the Denver Post that close to 700 crime reports were wrongly classified. This happened over a period of about 2 years. And those reports were not included then in the annual crime data which goes to state and federal authorities. So auditors discovered the error this month after some analysis. Some analysts there noticed some inconsistency in some of the numbers. So because of this error, the Denver Police Department can't really create a 2017 annual crime report for all of us here in the public. The department has an internal investigation on this going on right now.
An email sent to Air Force Academy cadets is causing a major controversy right now. A sergeant went from discussing appropriate grooming to making a statement that Michael Jordan, the basketball player, was, quote, never seen with a gaudy chain around his neck. The Colorado Springs Gazette reports the school has apologized for the microaggressions, and they're working to make sure dignity and respect is upheld at every level.
Well, today is the last of 3 anti-workplace harassment training seminars at our state capitol. And we checked, and 72 lawmakers have completed that training thus far. The last 28 are expected to take the training today. And something new this year, staffers, aides, interns, others at the Capitol now have to take the training as well. Those training sessions start today.
Well, Denver's auditor says DIA needs to start tracking Uber and Lyft rides to and from the airport. Right now, DIA relies on the 2 ride-sharing companies to give them that information. But other airports that started doing it themselves found out that there was actually a good amount of under-reporting going on. This all translates to significant losses in parking revenue. And that's important for you because airports base your parking costs on how many people take Uber or Lyft to DIA. We have not gotten a response from the airport yet. New numbers out this morning show Aurora just had a record year for new jobs, mostly due to the new UPS distribution center, the East Park 70 Industrial Park, and the Amazon Fulfillment Center. There are hundreds of new full-time employees working there. One agency says in 2017, Aurora brought in a record-breaking 2,500 new primary jobs.
Well, the Ski for the Pass Classic race is happening this weekend. It's just outside of Aspen. This is a fundraising event for the Independence Pass Foundation, which brings in money for upkeep along the pass there. This is the 6th year they've had this event. Registration, only $15. All you need to do is go to UtteMountaineer.com to register. All right, let's give you a look at the daily snow totals today. Right now, Vail's got a base of 45 inches, a basin 52, Breckenridge 51, Loveland 51, and Winter Park 61 inches. Lisa, are they getting more snow today?
A little light snow across the northern mountains next 24 hours. They're going to get more snow, though, when our next storm rolls in, so Sunday into Monday. So they're going to get a bit of a break. Here in town, clouds this morning. It's obviously icy. We'll be in the teens, mid-40s, and sunshine by about 3 o'clock.
And there are still some icy spots up into the mountains right now, but most of the chain and traction laws have been lifted, which is good news. But here in town, there's a new problem out to the west side. We'll get to that in just a sec.
Dozens of states are monitoring threats of school shootings this morning.
And a police officer in North Carolina in the hospital right now after being shot in the line of duty.
The DACA bill failed, so now what? Thousands of dreamers are facing the deadline.